love your calls on whether Donald Trump was disrespectful at the Pope's funeral. The US president was one of many world leaders pictured at the Vatican on Saturday. However, he's come under fire for defying what was a strict dress code. Men were asked to wear a dark suit with a black tie. He turned up in blue with an American flag pinned to his lapel. He then made an early exit as he reportedly wanted to treat his wife Melania to a romantic dinner for her 55th birthday. And some eagle-eyed viewers claimed they spotted Trump sleeping during the service as well. Others say he was on his phone and chewing gum. So, I don't know, Michael, was this a sign of disrespect, do you think?
I try to ration my outrage when it comes to Donald Trump, and this is definitely not up there with things I really care about. I mean, it is a dark suit. Right, so the Vatican said you've got to wear a dark suit, and he wore dark blue.
It's not. It's a bright suit, isn't it? What do you think?
I think compared to basically anyone else there, it's a bright suit. Much more importantly to me, I think, is the diplomatic, the emblematic side of things, where he is there representing his country, which has an enormous population of Catholics who were mourning the leader of their church. And he had to be reminded by his wife, Melania, who is a Catholic, to say peace be with you to other world leaders and not cause a diplomatic incident. I think the real fear is that there is not good advice on protocol, how to behave with other world leaders, with your international counterparts.
Does protocol matter? I don't know.
I mean, clearly Donald Trump doesn't get good advice on protocol. I think we can take that as a given. But, I mean, the images we're seeing now, that's a fairly dark suit. I suppose my worry is that if we get angry at Donald Trump for the colour suit he wore to the Pope's funeral, then the disquiet that one might express when he deports people who have the right to be in America or when he starts trade wars he can't win look a bit diminished, because it looks like people are just looking for an excuse to get angry at Donald Trump.
Biden,
Not that I think you are.
Biden had the wrong coloured tie. Mrs. Macron, Madame Macron, did not have a head covering that was requested for women. There were various people who made these faux pas. And I think, Michael, you probably agree that at least it wasn't Boris Johnson up there for representing the UK who would have guaranteed looked an absolute mess. And I'm not sure he could have followed the sock instruction.
Yeah, I don't know. What was the sock instruction?
The sock instruction was you had to have long, dark, black socks rather than mismatched, God knows what ones that Boris used to wear.
Did they really give a sock instruction? Wow. Mary's in Birmingham. Do you think it was disrespectful, Mary?
I do think it was disrespectful, and I've got my own couple of theories as to why. If you cast your mind back to when Trump was running for the first time, and somebody asked him about Trump's attitudes and what have you, and the Pope said, where people talk about building walls and not bridges, that could be an issue, because remember, he wanted to build the wall to keep the Mexicans out.
Of course.
And I think Trump never forgives. He never forgives, and I think that's part of it. And interestingly, it also came up in when they were talking at the funeral. The Pope wanted people to build bridges, not walls, interestingly. So I think Trump did it deliberately. He wanted to show up. He wanted to be the number one. He always wants to be the number one. He's got an ego the size of the moon.
I don't know if you saw, there was a congressman yesterday, or maybe it was Friday, saying, and it was a Democrat congressman, so obviously this has an edge, saying, can we just to shorten time here and sort of stop doing lots of things bit by bit, can we just not rename the whole planet Trump? Because then we won't have to do all these renamings that are obviously happening. What do you think about that, Mary?
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But Trump's such a maverick. You never know what to make of him, do you?
No. It's a 21st century.
And also, but remember the bunny. He had the Easter bunny as well. Remember when he was talking about the flags are going to be lowered out of respect for the Pope's...
I know.
You know, I don't know what to say about him.
No, it's one surprise after another, I must say. Thanks, Mary, very much indeed. But maybe he did nothing wrong. It's a good point. He's a sort of electric blue suit, dark. This is blue, I think. This is what I would call dark blue.
That's dark blue.
Yeah, his suit was not a dark suit.
His was more like your name on your side.
Yeah, it was more like that. Yeah. That's navy blue. No, I think it's electric blue.
I think it's royal.
Royal blue.
That sounds very appropriate for a funeral, no? Royal blue.
Okay, so many blues. Pat is in London. Hello, Pat.
Good morning, Jeremy. Pat Jennings here in London.
Oh, of course.
I'm disgusted with people sending you those horrible things. Number two, I wish you all the best with your book. And there's a connection between the abuse that you're getting and Donald Trump. This is coming from America. And Donald Trump is encouraging. In regard, was he disrespectful? I happen to be a Roman Catholic, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, you could see by his demeanour at the funeral that he thought he was campaigning for the next election. He had no respect, chewing gum, and it's absolutely disgraceful. So it's an insult to the Pope.
Let me ask you a question, Pat, about one particular thing which struck me. I wasn't sure that he should have been... You know, he was talking to Zelensky in a sort of a portal there, and then photos were taken. I wasn't sure that was appropriate, but I don't really know. What do you think?
Well, His Holiness the Pope, and as a Roman Catholic, the Pope would be delighted that he sat down with before the funeral. He would be in favour of that. I would. But in regard, I said many weeks ago on your show that this President of America has no respect, and people in this country around the world admire him for his disrespect. And that's why, Jeremy, unfortunately, you've got the abuse that you're getting, because they think it's cruel. They think it's clever, abusing you, a good man like Jeremy Vine. I always enjoy your show. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Pat Jennings.
You're a gentleman. Pat Jennings is saying to you, Jeremy, you're a gentleman. Absolutely. And I heard you this morning saying that you hope the man who stole your bicycle enjoys it. Only a decent man like you would talk like that.
That's so nice of you. Thank you. We had a lot there. Thanks, Pat. I still don't know if he should have sat down with Zelensky in what was almost a little bit of a show for the press.
It felt too staged for me, but I think Pat is absolutely right that the Pope would have approved of any conversation that could possibly promote peace.
Yeah. And also we needed to overwrite that wretched afternoon in the Oval Office, which was one of the worst moments in modern history. Nick in Buckinghamshire, hi.
Hi, very good morning. Good morning, everybody. Basically, I think it's blatantly obvious that Trump was disrespectful. I don't think it's really up for debate about the colour of his suit. That's sort of personal taste. But as the images appear to, show, he was either on his phone or he was asleep. You can't get much more disrespectful than that at any funeral, let alone the Pope's.
I must say, sitting for a long time under the gaze of others isn't that easy. I would say to him, if he's fallen asleep there, he's travelled...
Well, make sure you get your dose of coffee beforehand. You are world leader.
He should have had some
He's going to have the world's cameras on him. And not only that, was he asleep or was he on his phone?
I thought he should have worn a visor of some kind, but then that would have been disrespectful as well.
I've been on a panel before and someone shared a picture of me accusing me of sleeping, and saying that was disrespectful. I was closing my eyes because they were reading a poem. Yeah. And it's easier to interpret a poem when you've got your eyes closed. So maybe he was deep in thought.
Yeah, these are photos that could be photos of him blinking.
And it was 3 hours. That's a lot of opportunities to have the wrong face on.
Yeah.
But I do tend to agree that I don't think he seemed very respectful. But he was there, and I think it is important he spoke to Zelensky, although it's Trump and he might change his mind again tomorrow.
He didn't make... Let's say there's been a bit of a to-do the last few days that he may want to stand again in, where are we, 2028. And they've started... His website is selling hats now saying Trump 28, change the T-shirt saying change the rules. Let's say he turned up and he'd said 2028, like that. And there would have been massive havoc. That would have been the news story of the day. That would have been appalling. So he stayed within...
Yeah, we got off lightly.
The norm.
A dark blue suit. Imagine what else could have happened.
It's amazing if you set expectations low enough.
Yeah, he didn't do anything colossally bad. Nick, thank you. Ian in Leeds, hi.
Hi, yes. Donald Trump being disrespectful is part of the course. I mean, the man is an uncouth slob. But here's the issue. It isn't just necessarily that he wore the blue suit. It's the excuses people are making for him. I always say the problem isn't Donald Trump necessarily, it's those who aid and abet him. Remember when Barack Obama wore a tan suit and you had the likes of Fox News and the Republican Party jumping up and down, although it was a cardinal sin that Barack Obama did not wear a dark suit.
Where was that? I don't remember that.
Oh, that was a few years ago. That was when Obama was president.
Yeah, but I mean, why was he having to wear? What was wrong with the suit?
Nothing.
It wasn't at a funeral or something, or
they said it was unpresidential.
Oh, I see. It was just not appropriate. Right. Okay.
It was seen as not appropriate. There's nothing wrong with the suit. It was just a light-coloured suit. They jumped up and down upon him because he wore this light suit. And of course, we've had the recent issue with Zelensky not wearing a suit. We know why Zelensky not wearing a suit, but they made an issue of it.
Okay, Ian, thanks so much. We've got to move on, but thank you. After the break.